Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to the Daily Current Affairs Initiative. We will discuss the current affairs of today, that is 11th March. Before that I want to tell you, yes, there were some breakage in the last 3-4 days, but we are giving it in recorded format. We have already completed the recording of 7th March, right. So we had a session till 6th March and the 7th March session is already recorded and it will be uploaded in the next coming 1 or 2 hours. So today from today it will be as usual. So we will be left with 8th as well as the 9th March session. So I will be completing that recording as well by tomorrow. So you will be get those sessions as well in the YouTube by tomorrow evening, right. So you won't be able, you are not missing anything of the last 3-4 days. We are giving in recording format. So just to make you inform about the same, right. So today we will see the current affairs of today as well as yesterday, that is Sunday, because Sunday we are not having the sessions. Saturday, Friday and Thursday we will give in recordings, right. So we will see what are the articles that we are going to see for today. International Cooperative Museum, that is going to be launched in Kerala. This is the first article. Then abortion rights in France. You can expect questions from it, international relations. So these were taken from the Hindu newspaper. Then WTO 13th Ministerial Conference. This is also taken from the Hindu. So we have some outcomes. We will also see about WTO, what is Ministerial Conference and why 13th time. So we will see all these things related to it. Next one, Bharat Shakti, exercise military on the combination of military, navy and as well as air force. There is an exercise. So we will see details about it. And the next, again international relations, very important, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement. Then comes a science and technology based article, satellite based toll collection. We will see background and what is satellite based the toll collection. All these things we will see in detail. And then golden langur, langur, so it is part of environment. Then Sela Tunnel, recently opened by our Honorable Prime Minister. Exercise Cutlass Express, this is an international initiative related to the military. We will see details about it as well. And then there are some factual pointers and finally some practice questions, right. So I hope you are ready for the session, and if you have any doubts you can ask here, okay. Yeah, hello Venkat Reddy, welcome to the session. Yes, so yes, right, we will go ahead with the session now. If you have any doubts you can ask. Let's start the first article, that is International Cooperative Museum, right. So the context were taken from the Hindu. We have taken from the Hindu newspaper, and what is the context? International Cooperative Museum is ready to be launched in Kozhikode, Kerala. So this is the first in India, and before knowing all these details, we need to know what actually are cooperatives. So you all know India, or not even India, you can take any example of humans. So there is inequality, isn't it? Some people are rich, some people are poor, some people have more resources and some people does not have much resources. So individually it is very difficult to do certain things. So that's why cooperatives plays a very important role to pool voluntarily those members who are in a disadvantaged position. So for example, I am a poor person, I am having only 10,000, right. So whatever the gross earnings. So similarly there are a lot of such people. We can come together, pool our money, we can invest, gives rise to some business, and we can take the profits, right. So cooperatives are voluntary association of the individuals who can enhance the common economic interest which will propel the growth of all the members. So those are cooperatives. And what is the aim? Very basic aim, they serve the growth propellers for the poorer sections of the society in terms of resources, in terms of money, in terms of skills, anything they can come together and they can enhance this particular the growth of the individuals, right. So I want to also mention one fact here, that in 2021 they have created, they here means government has created a separate ministry for cooperatives. Earlier the cooperatives were taken care by Ministry of Agriculture. Now the government in 2021 has created a separate ministry recognizing their important role in economic growth, right. So we have seen the what are cooperatives and the existing the regulation by the ministry. Now What is the constitutional status? That is also important to be learnt. So, in our constitution itself, cooperatives provisions were clearly mentioned. All those things has to be remembered for the exam. First one is under fundamental rights. So, you all know our constitution has different provisions, and fundamental rights is one very important provision. Under fundamental rights, Article 19 gives fundamental rights to any citizen of India to form the cooperative. So, nobody can deny you. For example, I am going to form a cooperative, and some person has come to me and said you should not launch any cooperative. No, it is not restrained. So, it is clearly given as a right to individuals to form a cooperatives, right. So, this is very important provision, Article 19. Second one, there is one more provision under the constitution, the directive principles of the state policy. So, if you are a polity students, so DPSPs, directive principles of state policies, are the guidelines or the provisions, directions given to the government exclusively for central government to encourage to do something. Here Article 43B asks central government or the governments to promote the cooperatives, right. So, this is for the citizen to form cooperative society, this is for government to support for the formation of cooperatives, right. So, this is the second provision, and the third provision is part of 9B. There are 22 parts in the constitution. Third part is fundamental rights, 4 part is directive principles. Similarly, 9B was new part added by the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act. So, it was amended in 2011, 97th Constitutional Amendment Act, and they have added a new part to the constitution mentioning all the provisions of the cooperatives. Who should be the chairman, what should be the elections, what should be the members, what is their working nature, all these things were mentioned in different articles starting from 243 ZH to ZT. So, ZI, ZO, so all the provisions are there under the cooperatives. This is not a polity class, so I am not going to discuss all the articles, just a brief constitutional provisions of the cooperatives, okay. And also the amendment enables parliament to take care of multi-state cooperatives. So, same cooperative can be working in Kerala as well as Karnataka. You take example of Amul, it works throughout India. You go to Gujarat, you go to Kerala, you go to Andhra, Telangana. So, it is a multi-state cooperative, right. So, those provisions will be handled by parliament, and the state specific cooperatives will be handled by the state governments. So, these are all the constitutional provisions being mentioned with respect to the cooperatives, right. So, this is about the constitutional provisions. Now, coming back to the International Cooperative Museum. So, we have seen the context, we have seen what is cooperatives, we have seen what is the constitutional provisions. Now, we need to know about the International Cooperative Museum. As we have discussed, cooperatives are historically very older one, and India is one of the most successful country in propelling the cooperatives, right. So, to showcase the importance of cooperatives, a museum was being created in Kerala, that is Kozhikode, where all the success stories, especially of Kerala, you all know Lajjat Papad, right, which is very popular from Kerala state, and in Amul we have which were come from Gujarat. So, all these success stories will be put at single place, that is museum created in Kozhikode. So, it will encourage the people, okay, so this is the successful story, why do not we also enter into it. So, it encourages people by showcasing the successful nature of the cooperatives in India, right. So, that is about the article related to the International Cooperative Museum, and the facts related to it is also important for exam. So, the total cost of the museum is 150 crore, and it is being funded by Cursory Service Cooperative Bank, right. This bank has started way back in 1994, and this bank is funding this project, 150 crore project. The name is also important, and this is second such museum in the world and first in India. So, there was already a cooperative museum in the UK, Toad Lane, it is a place in UK which was created in 1864. So, since then we do not have any such museum, and India has come up with the museum after approximately 150 years, right. So, the construction of the project or the museum was taken care by Urlangal Labour Contract Cooperative Society. So, these are all facts, right. So, this is about the article. We have seen the context and then the what is cooperatives, constitution provisions, and the facts and working nature of the International Cooperative Museum that is being created in the Kozhikode. Any doubts in this? Yes, Reddy, someone has posted here. We will be having the sessions. Sometimes there may be some other work, so that is why we haven't conducted the live. But anyway, we are going to give you the recording. That is what I said in the beginning itself, that 7th, 8th and 9th March will be given in recorded format, right. So, no need to worry, today itself the 7th March video will be out soon, okay, right. So, any doubts in this? I hope there is no doubts. Now, we will move to the next article, that is abortion rights in France, okay, abortion right in France. The context is this, it was clearly mentioned in most of the articles in the international relations. France has become the first country in the world. So, no other country has made this first. So, France is the only country as of now and the first country to give the full abortion rights to the woman. So, no other person, no other family member, no person can involve or influence the woman's rights, right. So, that is the context. France has become to give the complete abortion rights to the woman, right. So, abortion although legal in France, so it was legal, that is there is no prohibition. Like if you take Ireland, there was a lot of controversy in news. Ireland will never allow the abortion, there is no right of abortion there, okay. So, France do have that, but they have clearly given the freedom to the woman now to take the decision, right. So, what are abortion rights? You all know the basic very generic definition itself. It is a legal freedom or legal right given to the woman to take care of their pregnancy, whether to abort, whether to continue. So, whatever the decision related to the pregnancy should be given completely in the hands of the woman, right. So, those are called as abortion rights. It includes autonomy and control over the female pregnancy, right. So, that is reproductive health. This is about the abortion rights. Now, what changes have been made by France? We no need to worry, this is not our constitution which we are changing, this is the France constitution. So, no need to go in detail, just know the what they have introduced. So, they have introduced one provision in their constitution, that the law determines the conditions by which is excised in the freedom of the woman. So, any provisions related to the woman can be excised with their freedom, okay. So, no restraints can be kept on those decisions. So, this only country currently have such specification in their constitution. So, that is what we will be knowing about this. And also we need to know what is the condition of abortion rights in India. This is also important. So, whenever there is a news related to something and you need to relate it to the India, if it is international relations, you need to relate it to the India, that is how the examiners make the questions, okay. So, we also see what is the condition of abortion rights in India. First thing, in India abortion is legal, right. So, that means it is not prohibited, but yes, there are certain conditions where I mean anyone has to follow. So, they derive, these rules and regulations derive from Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. So, different acts are there in India. Similarly, we have a Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act which was enacted in 1971, and it gives termination of pregnancy in certain condition, not all the conditions. It is not like a France which has given complete freedom, right. There may be some issues, like for example, there is a screening of the woman womb. So, if there is a female or male child, whatever the preference based on that, they may abort it, they may be influenced by the family members to get aborted. So, such conditions are completely prohibited, but anyway it is legal in certain cases, like if woman health is affecting or the child is not being properly developed inside the womb. So, in such cases India is allowing the pregnancy or a termination of pregnancy, right. So, there are certain conditions that the pregnancy can be terminated only before the 20 weeks. So, 20 weeks means you can say divide by 7, so approximately before 3 months. So, only before 20 weeks the pregnancy is allowed initially when they were launched in 1971. But in 2021, just 3 years before, there was an amendment, there was a change in the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, where it allowed for further. So, abortion up to 24 weeks are allowed now. It is not just 20 weeks, but 24 weeks it is allowed, okay, for certain cases, right. There is not all the cases, extreme cases. Also, the opinion of one before taking the abortion, say for example a woman want to get aborted of her pregnancy before 20 weeks, they need to consider, they need to submit a report given by one medical practitioner, the doctor, gazetted doctor. So, he or she need to check, and it is given an assent, permission that yes, there is a threat to this woman life, so they can be aborted. So, up to 20 weeks they need to take permission of one medical practitioner, and from 20 to 24 weeks if abortion is being requested, then the opinion of two medical practitioners has to be given before abortion. Similarly, in extreme cases, there is some extreme threat even beyond 24 weeks, if the woman will die if it get delivered, or the child is not in a good position after 24 weeks. So, in such cases also there is a allowance or allowed for medical termination of pregnancy, but that should be given with the state level medical board. So, there is not an individual, but a medical board itself will be created, and that board will give the permission to get aborted after 24 weeks, right. So, that is about the Indian provisions. So, what we have seen the France initiative related to the abortion of rights, and then what provisions they have made, what is abortion rights we have seen, and what is the condition in India related to the abortion rights. So, this is all we have seen. Any doubts in this? Thank you Anantu, yeah, I hope it will be helpful for your exam. The next article is World Trade Organization 13th Ministerial Conference, okay. So, we have a new ministerial conference that was happened recently in Abu Dhabi, UAE. We have already seen this previously, that is what I am telling you. Current affairs, if you are following regularly rather than just compiling and keeping for at the end of the exam, right, many of the students do this. Just before 15-20 days they take up the compilations and they keep mugging up. So, how will you remember? It is not the way that brain can remember. So, you need to do it regularly, because the news will keep repeating it. We have already seen this, but there is some more context, that is why we have taken this article which was published in the Hindu, right. So, World Trade Organization Abu Dhabi Ministerial Declaration. I will tell you what is ministerial conference and all, do not worry, just understand the context, that they have adopted a Abu Dhabi ministerial declaration. So, at the end of the session they will declare, they will keep signing, or they will keep some rules and regulations, and then it is signed by all the member countries, right. So, the declaration was recently adopted and aimed to forward looking in the future, that is what, very simple context. Now, moving to the details of the article. Before that, we need to understand what is World Trade Organization, not just the declaration, but the World Trade Organization. You all know there are different bodies for different roles. You can take United Nations, it aims to what you call collaborate between the countries. Similarly, we have World Bank, which will give loans and all for all the countries, right, whichever required. Similarly, to promote the trade, the exchange of goods and services between the countries, we have a World Trade Organization. And initially, when we got over with the World War II in 1945, we have launched GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, in 1948. We have created it, but nobody has signed. This is no mandatory thing. It is not like all the countries are part, even USA did not sign, right. So, this has continued to work until 1995. 1995, to promote the trade, the GATT was launched and it was working till 1995, but there is no, all the countries were part and there is no agreements, just it is like a overseeing it and recommending something. There is no powers to implement or mandate certain things, right. So, this GATT was useless, and the countries felt that we need to have a new body like United Nations to take care of trade, because the world has opened up, the goods and services has exchanged between the countries. Now, nobody should restrain them, right, it should be a free trade. That is why the governments across the world has come together, and WTO was launched in 1995, right. So, it was signed in 1994 and it became implemented in 1995, right. So 1995, yes, here it is, January 1995 it was officially launched, right. And what is the aim? The aim is to promote the goods and services exchange between the countries freely without restrictions, right. So this was launched, and as part of it, we have a ministerial conference. For every 2 years, all the member countries of WTO will come together and discuss the challenges, issues, and what initiative has to be taken, right. So this is a ministerial conference, unlike United Nations where the role of P5 countries, China, Russia, USA, France, UK, they have a major role. But in WTO, all the countries are equal say. So if any decision is being taken, all the countries has to give the assent, right. So this is called as ministerial conference, where all the countries will vote and will take the decision. So as of now, we have around 166 countries in WTO to take such decisions, right. So ministerial conference also we have discussed, the decision making body. Now about this year ministerial conference, as I said, this is happening for every 2 years, right, since 1995. That is why some may be asked in the exam as well, like Uruguay round, Bali round. So every 2 years there was a lot of conferences, and this is the 13th edition which has happened in UAE, Abu Dhabi, and the declaration was made in the last day, right. So the two countries were joined part of WTO. Earlier it was 164 countries. This is also very important, which two countries has recently joined the WTO. So Comoros and Timor-Leste were the two countries which became part of WTO, right. So it has happened in Abu Dhabi. Now what is Abu Dhabi declaration? What declaration they have made? They means here all the countries of 166, right. So they have made that we have to implement a dispute settlement body. So any two countries, say example of India and China, saying that the goods are not properly allowed into the country, there is a dispute. So there is a dispute settlement body within the WTO, but those got redundant. The members, there is no more president of that because of dispute among the countries, nobody was appointed. So that body was vacant now. Now the countries has said that we have to implement this body in a holistic manner in the coming next 1 or 2 years, and the disputes has to be resolved between the member countries. So that was the first declaration, and the second declaration was to improve the special and differential treatment. We have a number of countries, USA, Europe countries, India, China, but if the rules are same for all the countries, the developing countries and the developed countries will have a different impact. Because developed countries have all the technology, they produce more goods, that means they cannot send it and they can earn more exchange, foreign exchange, right. So to benefit everyone, there is a special and differential treatment for the least developed and underdeveloped countries. What type of lenience was given? To give some more time to implement the agreement signed under WTO, right. So it should be free trade, fine, but the least developed and the underdeveloped countries has to get more time framework, and then measures to increase the trading opportunities. First develop the developing countries in terms of trading, manufacturing, then only implement the rules and regulations. There is a differential what you call index or the ranking. So first we develop the developing countries, then we will give the freedom to implement the rules and regulations. Provisions related to safeguard whatever the trade interest and all, we will give some advantage to the underdeveloping countries or underdeveloped countries and developing countries. Also to help them in terms of creating infrastructure. Only when infrastructure in place they can produce the goods and services properly. So all these lenience has to be given, that is called as special and differential treatment when compared to the developed countries. So these are the declarations made by the 13th conference, that is Abu Dhabi declaration. Any doubts in this? We have seen what is the context, the declaration, and then we have seen about WTO and ministerial conference every 2 years, and then 2024 ministerial conference facts, finally Abu Dhabi declaration. Any doubts in this? Okay, as there was no doubt in the comment section, I am moving to the next one, very direct and it is a factual one, no need to stress too much, right. So Bharat Shakti. Why we have taken this article? This is taken from Hindu itself. in today's edition. So, an exercise Bharat Shakti will be conducted at the Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan. What type of exercise? It is a firepower, that means India will test its fire, whether in terms of missiles, whether in terms of guns, whether in terms of bombs. So, all the firepowers that we have, mutations, that we are going to test and showcase our capabilities, right. So, that exercise is called as exercise Bharat Shakti, and not only showcasing the firepower, it is indigenously manufactured. So, all these goods, bombs, whatever, we have developed our own, we did not take in from other countries. We are showcasing our own missiles, our own bombs that we have created, and it stays for 50 minutes. It stays for 50 minutes, continuously firing will be happen for 50 minutes, and it also tests the jointness, how army, which is based on land, air force based on air, and then navy based on water. So, all these will come together and coordinate each other. So, whenever there is a war, so these three has to coordinate each other and defeat the enemy. So, we are testing our own capabilities, that is the aim of the exercise. And after 50 minutes of firing, we will also showcase our static equipment without any fire. So, there will be a static equipment showcasing our strength, right. So, this is about the exercise, very factual in nature. I hope this is clear. Any doubts? Okay. Now, next article, this is very important, international relations. Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, TEPA, right. So, this was recently signed by India with other 4 countries of European Union, right. So, here Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement was signed between India with 4 European countries, that are Iceland, Liechtenstein, right, next Norway and Switzerland. So, these are the 4 countries which signed Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with India, right. Why we need trade agreement? See, there are, as I said in the earlier, there are a differential treatment of 2 countries. So, Switzerland may be having some more strength, gold and all, so they can immediately send and they can earn the exchequer, we need to pay the dollars. So, they can get more money from other markets. Similarly, India may have some benefits like milk. So, whenever there are more imports into India, there may be some restriction, there may be some taxes which are called as tariffs. So, this country will reduce the trade, right, because India want to protect their own goods. If they are coming with the cheaper cost, all the people in India will buy from the Switzerland, and we are losing our rupees, right, we need to convert into dollars and give back to them, right. So, that should not happen. So, to have a level playing field, there are trade agreements, both encouragement from both the countries, there should be free trade benefiting both the countries. That is why these 4 countries have signed a trade agreement with India, that is called as Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement. Now, let us see what are the provisions of the agreement. India is, when compared to these countries, Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, Liechtenstein, these are all advanced countries, they have very good manufacturing. So, that means what we will get more goods from those countries rather than sending more goods to these 4 countries. That is why we will allow your goods to enter into India without any restriction, but what will you do for us? So, for that, these 4 countries has given assurance that at least $100 billion, that means how much? 100 into billion means 1 billion is 100 crore, right. So, 100 billion and dollars, that is multiplied by 80 rupees. So, this much amount we are promising that we will invest in India, FDIs, we will invest, we will create infrastructure, we will create jobs, all these things we will send. So, they have promised that this much amount will be invested in India in the next 15 years, and not only that, we are also promising 1 million jobs to be created. 1 million is 10 lakhs. So, 10 lakh jobs we will create, and then $100 billion we will invest in India. So, because of that, you allow our free goods to enter into India. So, there will not be any restriction from India, right. So, this is about the agreement. The agreement will also reduce tariffs, the taxes, as India have to reduce the taxes because they are giving this benefit. Increase the market access and simplification of customs. Customs means when they are entering into Indian borders. So, all these things India will relax, and in turn these countries will invest more and give more employment. That is the agreement. Now, so there are certain important provisions as part of this agreement. Those provisions you need to remember. For the first time, there was a new chapter in the agreement. Why the new chapter? It should be usually related to the trade or economics, right? But there is a new provision related to human rights and sustainable development. That means whatever the trade is happening, whatever the investment will be happening, we will keep an eye that will promote human rights and sustainable development. Sustainable development means developing the country or the what you call world without affecting the future generations. So this provision for the first time was introduced in any of the trade agreement. So this is very important. Also, for the first time there was a binding agreement, binding commitment to invest some amount in the country. Usually free trade means, okay, you allow some goods of us and we will allow some goods of you, right? So free goods and services exchange, but nowhere it has mentioned previously since till now when the world has opened up, there was no binding agreement that we will invest certain amount of money. So this is the first time that there was a binding agreement on investing 100 billion, right? The two sides have also aimed to increase the FDI, foreign direct investment, not only for 100 billions in the 15 years, that was broken into two parts. 100 billion years in 15 years, fine, but first 10 years itself we will do it for 15 billion investment, and the next 5 years, the remaining 5 years we will invest again the 50 billion, right? So first 10 years 50 billion and the next 5 years 50 billion, total 100 billion in the 15 years. This is what those four countries has agreed. Any doubts in this? So we have seen what is the agreement, which countries were signed, and then what is the agreement, and then finally some provisions related to it. Any doubts? Okay, just give me a second. Okay, next and very important article, this was also taken from the Hindu, Monday edition, yeah, today's edition itself, satellite based toll collection. Before knowing this article, I just want to remind you how the toll collection is happening in India, right? So there is a road, so there are tolls. Whenever you pass through, there is a RFID tag, right? RFID tag, radio frequency tag. So if you are passing through this vehicle, then it will deduct some amount of money, and then if you pass to other one, it will deduct money. So immediately, for example, your destination is here. So even without considering how much distance you are traveling, it is just collecting the toll from the certain points. There is no collection of toll based on the distance, right? So now the context is the Ministry of Road Transport, Minister Nitin Gadkari ji has announced that we are going to replace, not completely but anyway, we are going to introduce a new toll collection, not just RFID, that is existing one, we are going to introduce the satellite based collection in the next coming few days. Even before election code of conduct comes, as there are elections, we will implement it, right? So the new toll collection will coexist, it will not completely replace, some parts it will be replaced with satellite communication, and some part it will stay RFID, but in the future, in the next maybe in decade, they will replace it completely, right? Now let us understand how the FASTags work. As I already said, we have discussed in a brief manner. So wherever you are traveling, there will be a radio frequency reader, and your toll will be collected based on the fixation here, 30 rupees, 40 rupees, whatever per toll. So there will be antenna which will collect your RFID and the RFID tag, through RFID tag which is attached to the money, so it will deduct it, right? Now this is fine. What is happening here? You need to understand the issues in the present situation, why they are replaced. So this FASTag was rolled out in 2016, you all know. Earlier we are paying manually, whenever you are driving a car you need to pay in cash, but now it was replaced 2016 using RFID tag automatically collecting. But fine, why they are replacing? There are certain issues with the RFID as well. there are lot of stoppage. Even for RFID there was a pile up of vehicles, especially during the festival season. Even if there is a RFID, there is a pile up of vehicle. It is delaying the smooth flow of vehicles in the highways. That is one reason. And second reason is, this toll collection is not based on distance, not based on distance, right. So this is just based on the points, wherever you pass through you have to pay it, right. So this is not based on distance. Now we are replacing with the satellite based toll collection. So here what is happening, we will fit the vehicle, just understand here the factual things anyway I will stress. So here all the highways, whatever the highways, that will be geotagged. Everywhere there will be a geotag, that means whatever the length of the highway will be noted, and your vehicle will pass through and ended here. So whatever the distance you have travelled, that will be calculated using the satellite communication. So this distance will be measured appropriately and accordingly it will be told. Now it is distance based. So someone who is travelling for longer distance has to pay more, and someone who is travelling for lesser distance will pay low. Even though if they are travelling, earlier it was just if you are passing through toll you have to pay, even if you are not travelling for longer distance, right. Now it is going to be distance based, all the highways will be fenced. So how much distance will be travelled and all, everything will be known, and this vehicle will be fitted with an on-board unit which will calculate the distance that travelled by the vehicle, right. So here what is happening, there won't be any toll, there is nothing toll plazas, nothing. You can just travel and finally the distance will be noted for every day, how much you travel, for every month you are travelling. So based on that it will be charged. So there is no stoppage of vehicles, there is no congestion on the highways, so there is a smooth passage of the vehicles, right. So these are all the benefits. I have discussed geofencing of the highways and then putting OBU in the vehicle, right. We are having already a Gaggan system, you might be, if you are a science student you should be knowing. We have a constellation of satellites which India has kept, navigation satellites. 8 satellites were already in place which were called as Gaggan, right. So all these satellites can take care of the information related to the highways and the distance travelled by the vehicle, everything will be made with the satellite systems. So finally we can calculate the distance and it will be measured. So there no need of any RFID, no need to worry about the points that you need to pass through, you just need to pay for the distance that you are travelling, right. So that is about the satellite based toll collection, right. Any doubts in this? This is the process, the facts are the Gaggan that we are using, right, and then OBU that we are using which can track and measure the distance, right. So this all about the satellite based toll collection. Any doubts in this? Okay, next and very important, which is in environment. As I said, environment articles, environment related questions will be mostly coming from current affairs. So there was an article in the Hindu today that the golden langurs were estimated to be around 7,396 throughout India. In the overall in India we have around 7,396 golden langurs, okay. And who has conducted the survey? This was conducted by, the organizations are also important in the exam. So the organizations involved are Primate Research Center of Northeast India, and then Assam Forest Department, Bodoland Territorial Council, Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History, finally Conservation Himalayas. So these are all organization has measured, coordinated and finally said that there are total golden langurs of 7,396. Fine, this number is fine, but how the questions are framed? They will ask about the golden langur, that is important for our exam, okay. So these golden langurs are like primates in the sense monkeys, chimpanzees, right, gorillas, these are all comes under the primates which have earliest existence, those are called as primates means earliest existence. So these golden langurs can be easily recognized with their looks, they are yellowish in color, okay. So very unique, that is one point important for exam. They are present in Bhutan, not only in India, some questions are framed that these are present only in India, something like that. It is present even in Bhutan, right? And in India we have Assam, and the districts are Chirag, Kokrajhar, Dhubri, Boingangong district. So all these districts from Assam, this is present, very important. Bhutan, and in India it is Assam, right? And they are highly dependent on trees. They are not non-vegetarians, they are highly dependent on trees, right? So the upper canopy forest means the higher level of forests. They are also known as leaf monkeys, as they completely depend on the leaves, right? So that is also important. And the Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary, or the Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary is the India's first wildlife sanctuary with specifically, or prioritarily conserving the golden langur species. This is located in Assam. Okay, so this is very, very important. This fact is important. Now, what is the protection status? That is also important. It is considered as an endangered species. I have shown you about the IUCN classification in the last one class. Least concerned, near threatened, endangered, critically endangered, vulnerable, right? So all these things I have explained you the evolution. So it is endangered status in IUCN, and also it is protected under Appendix 1 of Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species. So Appendix 1 is the highest protection criteria followed by the International Convention of CITES. Similarly, under the Wildlife Protection Act, we have a Scheduled 1, which is highly protected for this species of India. So all these are protected of the golden langur. So what we have seen the number, which organizations involved, and the facts related to it about the golden langur. Any doubts in this? Very simple article, very factual in nature. There is not too much concept to explain you. Okay. The next article is also such type of article, which is factual in nature. You need to put more efforts. Whenever there is a concept, I need to put lot of efforts to make you understand, but if it is facts, it is up to you to put efforts, right? So recently our Honorable Prime Minister has launched Sela Tunnel project virtually, right? He did not physically present, virtually it was launched in Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. Now details about the project is important for our exam. Sela Tunnel was strategically vital for India, and it is located in the Arunachal Pradesh. Why vital is strategically important? Because it is bordering to China. Whenever there is an attack from China, we need to rush our troops or the equipment through the region of northeast, which is hilly. So if there is a proper transportation, it can be done more easily. So that is why it is a strategically tunnel, and it has constructed on a roadway. See, already there is a Tezpur, you can see here in Assam, from Tezpur to Tawang, bordering China. So here is the Sela tunnel or Sela pass. So here we have constructed. So it is completely in Arunachal Pradesh, but the roadway is being passed from Tezpur in Assam. So this article was constructed, tunnel was constructed to connect Tezpur in Assam and connecting it to Kemang district in Arunachal Pradesh. There is already a big roadway, within that a small tunnel was constructed in the Arunachal Pradesh region. Okay. So it will boost the armed forces to transport the vehicles, equipment, whatever they want. That is about the tunnel mechanism or the objective. Now there are some facts which need to be remembered. This is the world's longest bi-lane tunnel. Bi-lane means there are two ways, going and coming, right? So there are two ways which can go through this tunnel, and this is the world's longest bi-lane, which altitude of 13,000 feet. So above 13,000 feet this tunnel was constructed. Very, very important, isn't it? It is not just at the ground level or the sea level. It was constructed above 13,000 feet. So this is very important, and it is constructed by Border Road Organization, BRO, under Ministry of Defence. Very, very important. And the total cost was 825 crore. Very, very important. Okay. So that is about the Sela tunnel. Any doubts in this? Right. So we have seen the details about this. The last article for today very factual and very short. Exercise Cutlass Express 2024. This was launched, inaugurated by the Seychelles. Seychelles is a country located in the Indian Ocean below the Maldives. We have seen this, right? So Seychelles in the previous session. So Seychelles has been conducted the exercise Cutlass Express this year 2024, and Indian ship was INS Tir, which has participated here. It happens every year in the different countries, but this year it is happening in the Seychelles, right? And what is this exercise about? All the maritime countries of the Indian Ocean. You all know there is a threat in the Indian Ocean region, especially China, aggressiveness in South China Sea, and even certain islands, even Maldives has become friend of China. So because to contain the other countries which are not part of Indian Ocean, every year all the Indian Ocean region countries will come together and perform those readiness. If something happens, they are ready to avoid that situation. So to combine maritime forces, how they can handle, so to test themselves every year there is a exercise, and this year it is happening in Seychelles. So it is a aim to promote national and regional maritime security in the Indian Ocean region. So this they may ask you which region being safeguarded by the Cutlass Express, something like that, and which country, or India is part. Yes, India is a part because it is part of Indian Ocean, right? So these are all the things that you need to know. So Seychelles and then India is part, this year it is happening, and then it is, what is the aim of the exercise? To promote the regional security, maritime security among the countries, right? So these are all the articles for today. Now we have a 2-3 factual things as well, pointers to be remembered. Czech Republic, a countries, right? Kristiana Piskova has won the Miss World 2024, which has happened in Mumbai. That's why it becomes very important. If it would have been happened somewhere else, fine, it is also important, but this, as it happened, the event has happened in Mumbai, it becomes very, very important. So Kristiana Piskova was the winner of Miss World 2024 this year, and the runner up was from Lebanon, Yasmina Joyton. She is from Lebanon and the runner up. Okay, so 2 names are sufficient, and we can see a little background of India as well. India has won the 6 titles previously, Miss World. This year we did not win, but previously in the some years we have won 6 awards till now, and there are popular figures, the popular names, right? So those names are also important for our exam. Sometimes they may ask. Riata Faria, so she is from India, the first one to win the Miss World 2024. So these figural personalities are very, very important. First one was won by Riata Faria in 1966. Second one, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, she is the second winner. Then Diana Hayden, and then Yukta Mukhe, Priyanka Chopra, we all know, right? And then Manushi Chillar, the recent one. We know Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Priyanka Chopra and Manushi Chillar. Yes, first one you have to remember, first personality you have to remember, right? So this is the details about the Miss World 2024. Next one, there is a maritime security exercise called as Sea Defenders 2024. Sea Defenders 2024. This is a maritime exercise between 2 countries, that is USA and India. Indian Coast Guard, that is India, United Nations Coast Guard. So this has culminated in Port Blair, Andaman Nicobar. So these are factual in nature, you can directly remember, and the aim is to promote the cooperation under the maritime security. So this is the fact. The next and the last fact, North India's first government homeopathy college. So in northern part of India we don't have homeopathy college till now, and for the first time it is being launched in Kathua in Jammu Kashmir, very, very important. In southern part of India we have Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, there are a lot of homeopathy, but in northern part of India this is the first one to be launched in Kathua, Jammu Kashmir. So this is the session for today. Now we will move to the practice questions. Okay, we have a practice questions to be solved from the sessions that we have discussed. This is very, very important. let us solve. See, this is why I am saying it is important to test your knowledge, how you are able to listen the class, and if you are not confident about answering, from tomorrow you will be more engaging or you will be more attentive during the class. Okay. So, first question, let us see now. Okay. First question for today: which of the following statements about International Cooperative Museum is incorrect? They are asking about the incorrect. It aims to showcase India's rich history of cooperative movements. Next one, the museum was initiated by Kerala State Cooperative Bank. Next, it was established in the Kozhikode town of Kerala. The construction was carried out by Urlangal Labour Contract Cooperative Society. So, what is the answer? They are asking about the incorrect, not the correct one. I am waiting for your answer. So, someone have said it as B, Ramanjaneyulu. Very good, let us test this. Yes, it aims to showcase the India's rich history of cooperative movements, correct. Second one, it was not initiated by Kerala State Cooperative Bank, it was initiated by Kisnar Cooperative Bank. We have seen that. We have seen that in the beginning itself. Let me show you to, that is what the keen observation is needed when you are doing such factual questions. Okay. So, yes. Okay. Yeah. So, you can see here it was launched by yes, here it is, Karasir Service Cooperative Bank. So, answer is B. You are correct, Ramanjaneyulu. So, answer is B. They have asked about the incorrect, and yes, answer is B. Okay. Next question, what is the present status of right to abortion in India? What is the present status of right to abortion in India? Any answers from your side? Constitutional right, legal right, a discretionary right granted by Supreme Court, women's sole right. So, that is only women's right they are saying. So, just try to understand what we have discussed. I did not clearly discuss this point because I wanted to see your application part, how you are answering it. What is the present status of right to abortion in India? So, let us go ahead. First, constitutional right. No, it is not a constitutional right. Nowhere in the constitution it was mentioned that woman has a right to abort, right. So, that is not the correct. This is correct, legal right, because it is given by Medical Termination Act, MPT Act 1971. So, there is a two difference. Constitutional right means what mentioned in the constitution, right, but legal right means what derived from the act of the parliament, those are called as legal right. This has enabled women to have abortion till 20 weeks, right. We have discussed this. That is how the application part you need to understand. It is not discretionary right given by the Supreme Court, not only women's sole right, okay. There is no such concept at all. So, answer is legal right under Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. Next one, which of the following statements about trade and economic partnership agreement are correct, okay. So, this we have discussed, right, about the India and 4 countries. Let us see. It aims to enhance the trade and commerce between India and European Union, that is the first statement. Second statement, through this agreement India will get 100 billion in investment and 1 million jobs in the next 15 years. The agreement is binding on the countries. So, whatever the countries signed, that is the binding on the countries. Any answer from your side? Okay. First one, it aims to enhance the trade and commerce between India and not European Union. There are 4 countries, as we said, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein and Switzerland. So, this is wrong, first statement has to be deleted. Next one, through this agreement, yes, $100 billion and 1 million jobs in the next 15 years, and it is binding on the countries. It is not just a voluntary. So answer is D. Yes, Subrat, Malini and Ramanjanelu, all three of you are correct. Very good. So you have listened this article properly, I felt. Okay. In which of the following regions of India one can see the golden langur in the natural habitat? We have discussed golden langur, right? So where it is located and the distribution we have seen. Nilgiri Hills, northern Ghats, northeast Himalayas and trans Himalayas. Now what is the answer for fourth? We have seen this is natural habitat in Assam and Bhutan, right. Now they haven't asked the states, rather they are asking the regions. Nilgiri Hills, where it is located? It is located in the confluence of western and eastern Ghats. So this is present in Tamil Nadu region. Northern Western Ghats, no. Northern Western Ghats is located in Maharashtra, Gujarat, no, it is not. Northeast Himalayas, yes, not trans Himalayas. Correct, Malini, very Ramanjanelu both. Okay, Ramanjanelu has answered it as 4C, right. Very good. I was expecting some wrong answers, but yes, 4 is Assam, fine, but not the question. So question is little bit changed. Northeast Himalayas, where is, how India is situated? You all know, you should know the map as well, right. So this is the map of India, right. So this is the northeast region. This is the northeast region. So Assam is located here. So answer is northeastern Himalayas. That's how the questions are framed. They won't ask you directly. You need to apply your mind and you have to answer it. The last question for today. The strategically important Sela tunnel is located in which of the following states? Arunachal Pradesh, West Bengal, Assam, both Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, right. So what is the answer? For the last question, so you may be eliminate, you can eliminate at least one, that is West Bengal. So we haven't even discussed Subrat and Ramanjanelu. You are correct. It is not located in Assam. It is in a road that is being connected between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, right. So from Assam to the Kemeng district in Arunachal Pradesh, but not in the tunnel itself is located only in Arunachal Pradesh. So fifth one is A, all of you are correct, Ramanjanelu, Subrat and Malini. So this is the session for today. We have already recorded the 7th March current affairs also. It will be available soon in the next 1 hour. So 7th, and now 2 days are left, 8th and 9th current affairs, 8th March and 9th March current affairs, that we will be recording tomorrow, and by tomorrow evening it will be available, right. So today's session anyway we have covered from 10th and 11th, that is yesterday and today, right. I hope you enjoyed the session, and thanks a lot for the support. Keep preparing, keep motivating yourself, don't ever give up, maintain the consistency and you will reach your goal soon, right. Thanks a lot, have a great evening.